Guam Chapter. Thank you very much for allowing us to make this presentation, and I want to thank the good speaker for joining in this presentation this afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the things that certainly comes to mind in terms of memorable events and occurrences was back in 1996. I was the chair for the government of Guam fundraising cause from the government's perspective. And one of the biggest selling points about the American Red Cross at that point in time in terms of trying to get the government to contribute to the American Red Cross cause was mentioning and highlighting that in 1976, during Super Typhoon Pongsanwa, the American Red Cross contributed $11 million in 1976 to relief efforts here in Guam. And that's inclusive of the local community contributing and also the National American Red Cross contributing to the cause. And that was one of the biggest selling points in terms of encouraging many of our GovGuam employees to be able to contribute to this wonderful organization. This is a resolution that encompasses 2 pages, incidentally, in legislative resolution format, and primarily because of the wonderful causes that you have all provided in terms of the service to our island, our community, and also to the region whenever there's a natural disaster. But I'm going to ask you to, if I could beg your indulgence, because there's several components here that I think the people of Guam would be very appreciative of continuing to know and understand in terms of knowing what and how the American Red Cross has contributed over the years. And let me just start off by reading captions of this resolution. On October 23rd, 1916, the Guam Chapter of the American Red Cross was started by the U.S. Congress with the signatories of President Woodrow Wilson, Secretary Charles McGee, and the American Red Cross Acting Chairperson Elliot Wadsworth. In addition to that, moving along in highlighting some of the contributions, I mentioned that in 1976, during Super Typhoon Pongsanwa's devastation, the American Red Cross contributed over $11 million in relief efforts to the people of Guam. Super Typhoon Pamela, I apologize. In 1976, Super Typhoon Pamela, $11 million in relief to the people of Guam. And then once again, the chapter repeated its success when it raised $1 million after Super Typhoon Paka, and the national headquarters contributed $7 million to assist Guam residents in their recovery. In addition to that, in 2000, the Guam chapter spent over $300,000 to provide local assistance, training, and support to our community. 22 families received direct disaster assistance. More than 100 children learned disaster preparedness techniques through the Red Cross Masters of Disaster program. Over 2,000 messages were delivered to military families. Approximately 6,000 people were trained in first aid and CPR. Over 700 people received aquatic and lifeguard training. Over 300 neighbors were reached through HIV/AIDS education, and more than 1,000 friends and neighbors gave of their time to do the work of the Red Cross as instructors, board members, disaster volunteers, and in numerous other capacities. And in October 2001, the island experienced major flooding which affected 33 families to the tune of over $23,000. In July 2002, Typhoon Chataan devastated the island, affecting almost 4,000 residents, and Red Cross disaster relief amounted to $5,354,350. A few months later, in December of 2002, Guam was once again devastated as Super Typhoon Pongsanwa affected the lives of approximately 28,749 residents, and disaster relief assistance was provided in the amount of $17,772,291. $17 million in 2002 for Super Typhoon Pongsanwa. Through all this, the Guam chapter has assisted many families, delivering hundreds of messages to armed forces, members of their families, and offering many educational programs to the public. And from 2003 until the present, countless families have been assisted throughout the island. Numerous messages have been delivered to our armed forces across the nation, and scores of people have received first aid, CPR training, safety aquatic courses, and babysitters training. And the American Red Cross Guam chapter has played a significant role in improving our island home, and 100 years later, It is hard to imagine the community surviving without this worthwhile organization. The Guam chapter will continue to assist the island community, and we wish them continued success and give them unending support for many more years to come. Now, therefore, be resolved that the Committee on Rules of Imina Trentai Trust na Liv Saturan Guahan does hereby, on behalf of Liv Saturan Guahan, the Guam Legislature, and most especially on behalf of the people of Guam, recognize, commend, and congratulate the American Red Cross Guam Chapter on the momentous occasion of its Centennial Anniversary, and thus further extend our Dakulina Sizus Masi to the organization and to all of his volunteers, his stakeholders, and supporters for their efforts at relieving victims of disasters, supporting our armed forces members and their families, and providing life-saving courses to our local residents. The organization's generosity, goodwill, and tremendous public service has been a prodigious resource to our island, and we wish them further success as they continue their mission to strengthen and advance our island community. Duly and regularly adopted by the Committee on Rules of Imina Trentai Trust na Liv Saturan Guahan on the 14th day of September 2016, signed by the Honorable Speaker, Judith T. Wampat, the Honorable Chairperson, Committee on Rules, Rory J. Respicio, and the Honorable Legislative Secretary, Tina Rose Munoz. So that certainly speaks volumes in regards to the tremendous contribution that American Red Cross has provided our island community. But there's a component that wasn't really also highlighted in my reading, but it's part of the resolution, and that is also our neighbors. Whether it's an incident in Mount Pinatubo in the Philippines, whether it's in CNMI or any of the Micronesian islands, whenever there's an opportunity to help, American Red Cross continues to render that support and that assistance, and truly and eternally grateful. Madam Speaker, please.
The mic's taller than I am. And I'm wearing high heels. Thank you. As he was reading, of course, he mentioned about the 100 school children who participated. And I don't know if you are aware, but just last Saturday, there were about 500 of our school children also who participated in a training with FEMA for prepared disaster as well. That you could very well add on to your list as volunteers, because they're doing this as part of their required program in the high school for service learning. So I encourage you as well to reach out to them. I know at one typhoon, former Senator Lou Leonguero and I volunteered actually to walk the streets to meet with families, and it was through experiences like that the service learning really is so important, because you are an organization that's really made a difference, not just in Guam but throughout the world, and you're here to stay. And it's truly an honor on behalf of the people of Guam and the 33rd Guam Legislature to present this resolution. Like you said, 2 pages. So I'm going to open it up and to thank you and congratulate you, and thank you so much for all your services.
So, Madam Speaker and Senator, thank you so much for the honor and the recognition. I think one of the things you've highlighted all the things that the Red Cross does, and of course all the support, the financial support, and all these things. But aside from, I always tell people, Red Cross, whenever we make the front page, it's usually because it's a disaster or something that's not so pleasant happening. But even during the good times, we have a lot of volunteers who do a lot of training, who do a lot of preventive things. Right now we're installing smoke detectors all around the island to prevent fires, and we're really, really proud of that work, and we're happy to be here, and we really appreciate the support from the general community and as well as the government as well. So thank you so much, and we're really happy to be here for another 100 years or more. I'm going to try. Okay, so